Hello there, and welcome back to the Schools of Excellence podcast. We are in part 2 of our 5-part series of the new School Playbook, 5 power plays to attract, engage, and retain families. So in the last episode, we dove into the first power play, which is know your families. And today we're going to dive into the second power play, which is to speak their language. We're going to dive into exploring how parent avatars are the key to unlocking the superpower of speaking their language. So the first thing is I want to dive into just what the communication gap is in today's world right now. So for a long time, and especially again, just in the last couple of years, there's kind of been a universal parent language and assuming that there's like one style of communication that fits all. So sending out generic newsletters, standard health parent teacher conferences, using the same tone and terminology for everyone. And the reality is that a one size fits all approach is leaving so many parents feeling disconnected from your center and misunderstood. So in a diverse educational landscape, speaking a single parent language is it's so polarizing to so many people because you're missing crucial nuances and you are probably feeling frustrated and resentful that people are not understanding you. And the parents are feeling frustrated and misunderstood that you're missing the mark. And it continues to create kind of this rift between them. So let's talk a little bit about how parent communication needs have shifted. Okay. So the first thing is that, like I spoke about in last episode, the culture diversity in your school communities, it's not just representation of a wide array of cultures. Each culture within your community has their own communication norms and expectations. You have a group of families that this is their expectation. This is their communication norm. This is how they perceive certain educational expectations. Then you have another place they're like, what are you doing? Like, this is not okay. You cannot do this. So there's such cultural diversity, right? Technology preferences. Some parents prefer face-to-face interactions. Others expect instant digital communication. There's information overload. Parents are bombarded with information from all angles. And so it's very difficult for schools to cut through the noise and also to make sure that the communication that you're giving families is actually getting to them, right? The other thing is like a huge variety of educational backgrounds and just styles and jobs and careers. So you're communicating with families in your center. Some people are like first generation, right out of college graduates, and they're in the same classrooms with people that have multiple children. The child in that classroom might be their 4th, 5th kid already. They're running multi-million-dollar businesses alongside someone who might have a completely different career. And so the way that you're communicating with different families is so important because the messaging doesn't land the same way. It just doesn't land. Time constraints, right? With diverse work schedules and family responsibilities, families only have capacity for so much. So you're trying to create these events where it's like, we want everyone to be involved. Okay, but is every single parent avatar going to be joining this experience, right? Emotional needs are different, right? Different families have different emotional needs. One of the stories I always say when it comes to like information overload, educational backgrounds, time constraints. When my son Yussi, he's in first grade now, but when he was in preschool, the school that he was in, I think he was in preschool for like 3 years, let's say. Every single year they had like a different app that they were using for like communication with families. And every single year I told the teacher in the beginning of the year, I don't download the app. I don't need to see the pictures. I don't need to see the updates. I don't need to see what time my child had a diaper change and when they drank the bottle, when they did this or what they ate for lunch. Like he's my 4th kid. Like I don't care. I would love if every once in a while you could send me a picture, but it's like, it's really not needed. Like I see him in real life. We take pictures at home. I don't need another app on my phone. Here is the one thing that I need from you as a parent. When there is a in-school event that you want parents to come to, please text me. Here's my cell phone. Please text me. As soon as you know the date and time, please let me know so I could get it into my calendar. Because if there's one thing that is important to me as a parent is I never want to miss any school event that parents are invited to. That is a priority to me. Now, as a working parent, right, I need to make sure that this is in my calendar way in advance because there's so many other dependencies in my calendar, right? And so she's like, no problem. And I said, I just want you, I'm not downloading the app, which means any reminders or updates, like I'm not going to see them. So if there's anything really critical that I have to know, please text me. And the teacher's like, no problem. I could take care of that for you. Now, some of you are listening to this, you're like, oh my God, you're like my worst parent nightmare. Just download the app, just do what I'm asking you to do or whatever it is. Here's the thing you need to understand. Okay. You have parents that are not going to be as direct as me, right? Who literally just came to the teacher and said, I don't download the app, not doing it. Here's what I need. But there are dozens of parents in your school that are not going to download the app, that are not, or maybe they'll download it to be courteous. They're not going to check. They're not going to see the notifications. They're going to miss them. And then they're going to miss the notification about when the school function is. And they're going to be pissed that they didn't know enough in advance and they weren't able to get it into their calendar. This is just such a classic example of what it means to speak their language. You need to communicate to families in the way they need to be communicated to. So, and this is what parent avatars are, which I'm going to explain in a moment here. So when I talk about speaking their language, this is not just about the attraction phase, which is about the marketing and bringing the right family into your school. It's the engagement and retention component of speaking their language. What are parent avatars? Okay, parent avatars are detailed profiles of fictional parents that represent segments of your school community. So this is not just about demographic data points, right? Creating an avatar is creating a tool to help you understand the unique language spoken by different parent groups. Okay. When you create avatars, you could create personalized communication, increase engagement, build trust, have effective information delivery, and do conflict prevention. Okay. So I'm going to share with you one example of an avatar that I created. I created a couple sample avatars. And then when in this training that goes into more depth inside of our Schools of Excellence program, we helped our clients create avatars for their school. So here's one avatar. It's the career focused millennial parent. Her name is Alex. Okay. She's 32. She's a marketing manager. She's married with a 4-year-old daughter. She works full time. Her communication preference is the mobile app and quick daily updates. She values academic success and work-life balance. Her main concerns and things that are important to her is time management and her child's educational progress. And the decision-making factors for her when she chose a school was location, educational philosophy, and the staff qualifications. So Alex is always on the go. She checks her phone frequently. She wants instant access to updates about her daughter's day. She values education highly. So here's the thing. When you look at an avatar like this, it's like, okay, 1 second. What are the decision-making factors of other avatars in my school, right? Not every parent avatar is seeking location as the number one filter for choosing a school or educational philosophy or staff qualifications. There's multiple decision-making filters. And when you're creating an avatar, tops 3 or 4 avatars inside of your center, you want there to be specificity into what are the decision-making factors. So when you're actually creating marketing and messaging campaigns and you're trying to engage with families and you want to retain families and you want to create parent retention programs, it all comes back to this. So many people are creating all of these initiatives and all of these things, literally trying to go from assumptions and their gut. Stop. Use data to make really informed decisions, right? So understanding your parent avatars is a huge component of how you're going to be able to attract the right families, become fully enrolled, stay fully enrolled, engage your families, and retain them. So let's talk about some next steps that you could take, right? Again, if you want a lot of help and support in plugging and playing into this entire system and framework, please fill out an application. You could click the link in the show notes. You can join us in our Schools of Excellence program. We walk you through exactly how to create these parent avatars. We give you the enrollment forms. We have enrollment form templates. We have parent survey templates. We have all of these things that you can plug into and customize it for yourself so you can get the right data. There's multiple data forms. There's multiple intelligence places that you can get. It's not just from parent surveys or enrollment forms. There's other components as well. And so that creates the merge where you can actually then decode the data and make avatars so that you can actually have proper marketing campaigns going out there and actually create the right parent engagement strategies and retention strategies. And you're not just doing it from an echo chamber of a Facebook group of like, well, this is what everyone else is doing. Who the hell cares what everyone else is doing? What are your parent avatars? How do you need to speak to your families? So I'm going to give you 2 next steps that you could take here. One is a simple communication audit. Review last week's school-wide communication. Did you send an email? Did you send a newsletter? Did you do a social media post? And I want you to identify one message inside that communication that could be tailored better to speak to a specific avatar, right? Think of a group of families in your mind. We're like, okay, yeah, this is the career focused millennial parent. Would this message resonate with them? Probably not. Tweak that message, rewrite it with that avatar in mind, right? That's a simple next step. Another next step that you can take is what I call the language adaptation exercise. Let's say you have something that's upcoming. It's an important announcement that you want to send out to families. Create two versions. One version of your usual style of your like generic parent speak, and then create another one that is tailored to your avatar's language, and then compare them and note some of the differences. Right? Again, simple exercises. You don't need a fancy marketing team to do this. You can do this in your office on your own. And it's just a great next step to get started. So I hope this was helpful to you. Again, this was our second power play, speak their language. And next episode, we're going to be diving into the third power play of attract, engage, and retain, which is be where they are. All about creating a digital omnipresence for your families. All right. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.